Do you guys want to say hi to Lucy? Come here. Oh, here's the baby. Oh, well, Lucy decided that she wanted to be a part of this video, didn't you? All right, honey, I gotta film. You gotta get down off the desk or put your butt in my face. Lucy! Girl, off. Well, guys, Lucy might just be in today's video, so hopefully you guys are okay with that. If not, then don't watch, I guess. She's staying here. She is staying here. Well, Merry late Christmas to all of you guys. I hope you guys had a really good Christmas. Hopefully everything was good. Yeah, so my assumption is around the holidays is that a lot of people tend to get firearms or firearms related gifts for Christmas. And I think that's awesome. I love that we are trying to get more people in the 2A community, specifically women. I love getting more women in the 2A community. But that being said, when people get these firearms for Christmas, they like to take them shooting the day after Christmas or the weeks after Christmas, which again is awesome. But coming from someone who used to work in a gun store and worked on the range for a little bit and then was an instructor and just saw things on the range, this time of year is when the most incidents happen and when we see those people on the range. So I'm going to tell you how to not be that person and how to still go have a ton of fun with your new toy, but be safe to yourself and to others. So here we go, 4 things to hopefully keep you guys a little bit safer as you go have fun with your new firearm. Number 1, please know the basic firearm safety rules, or just like safety in general. Working on the range a few years ago, the biggest things that we saw whenever someone was being unsafe was them pointing the firearm in an unsafe direction. So either at themselves, at someone else, at me. Not fun. I don't want a muzzle pointed at me. Other thing that we saw was a lot of trigger finger discipline, or lack thereof trigger finger discipline. I hope you guys understood what I'm trying to say. Basically, their finger would go in the trigger before they were ready to shoot or ready to do some sort of drill that involved having their finger on the trigger. And yes, there are other firearm safety rules. We will get into those, but those were the 2 biggest ones that we saw. And oftentimes that comes from lack of experience or you're overwhelmed because let's be honest, gun ranges can get pretty busy, really loud. If it's your first time shooting a gun or if it's a new gun, you might just be a little bit like, at the range. And so those basic firearm safety rules kind of go out the window. So I would just please keep those in the back of your head, specifically muzzle direction and trigger finger. Those were the 2 that at least I saw most of when I worked on a range. I can't speak for others, but that is what I saw a lot of. And then we've got the others where we definitely want to be of where is our target, what is our target, what is beyond our target. That's obviously a little bit safer at a range because behind the target there should just be some sort of steel or rubber backer. But if you're not in a set range, you have to be a little bit more aware of that. The other thing we want to consider is knowing if our gun is loaded or unloaded. A lot of new people may not understand that you can have a round in the chamber without a magazine in it, and okay, oh, we're staying. Okay. That you can have a round in the chamber but not have a magazine in it. They might put it away loaded. They might not be aware that it is loaded when they are doing something unsafe with it. So definitely being aware of whether your gun is loaded or unloaded. And honestly, just treat it like it's loaded. If you don't know, treat it like it's loaded. And even if you do know, there's still no excuse to point the muzzle at someone or something else that shouldn't have a muzzle pointed at it. There's no excuse to have your finger on the trigger unless you're specifically doing a dry fire drill. So just be aware of those basic safety rules when you go to shoot your firearm for the first time. Number 2, get comfortable with your firearm before you go to shoot it. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're a seasoned shooter or a competitive shooter, you probably know that I'm talking about dry fire. Dry fire is great for everyone, beginners, experienced shooters. It's awesome because you can make it as simple or as complex as you want. It's safe if you prepare for dry fire the right way. It helps build your skill, it helps build muscle memory, and yeah, we don't have recoil when we dry fire, but we get to understand how our gun feels, or how can we move with our gun, how does our gun function, and that takes just one bit of stress out of the equation whenever you do go to a gun range, because now you're not worried about how does my gun work? What is this? What's that? You already know all of that. Now all you're really working on is managing the recoil and being aware of the environment. And as you get more seasoned as a shooter, more experienced, then you start, of course, putting some other factors into that live fire training from your dry fire. But for someone new, I probably should have said this earlier, dry fire is basically utilizing your firearm, training with it, but without ammo. So you can kind of see here, I've got some targets put up. Those are my dry fire targets. Those are what I point at when I am training at home. Ammo, I will keep in a separate room. Always check your firearm, make sure it is unloaded before you dry fire, because the last thing you want happening is an accidental bang in your house. So make sure that you check that it is unloaded. Yeah, if you got a new firearm, and this is something for both new and seasoned shooters, just training with it a little bit, 15 minutes at your house will help you kind of understand how that specific one functions. Most of them should function the same, but you never know when there might be something funky on it. If it's a gun that you were gifted and you are new to shooting and you actually have no clue what's going on with it, then it gets you comfortable just seeing a firearm, handling a firearm. It'll get you comfortable holding it, maybe knowing how the trigger feels, just so that way all those new sensations of a firearm you've already experienced in a dry, controlled setting. That way when you go to the range, you're not worried about how to hold the gun, how to grip the gun, how to move the trigger, how to rack the slide. You know all of those things. Doesn't make it any less overwhelming necessarily, but that is one less thing to have to worry about. So highly recommend dry firing, becoming comfortable with it. And also that is a chance for you to practice being safe with your firearm. When we know the gun is unloaded, dry, that is the time to make those mistakes. So that way when you are in a live range with a bunch of other people, you don't make those mistakes in front of them, because that's not good. So get comfortable with your gun, get comfortable with the functionality, the grip, all that stuff, but also get comfortable being safe with it. What was my third point I was going to talk about? I should probably look at my notes. Ooh, it's almost time to go. I gotta hurry up. All right, number three. This is something that can be adjusted depending on your experience level. But number 3 is going to be start with one or a few rounds when you go to shoot that firearm for the first time. The reason I say that this is going to depend on your experience level. If you are a brand new shooter, never shot before, I would highly recommend just starting with one round in the chamber. That way, if that recoil kind of scares you a little bit and you end up flagging someone else just because you react to the recoil, or if your finger stays on the trigger, there is nothing else in there for you to shoot. Now, obviously, we don't want to point that gun at anyone else. We want to practice that firearm safety, but should you become unsafe with it after that first shot, it is unloaded. If you're a bit more experienced, then maybe you can start with a few more rounds in the gun, and you know how to be safe with it, you know what to expect. The only reason I would recommend, especially if it's just a new firearm, starting with just a few rounds in it, is we don't know if it's gonna malfunction, what is breaking in, what's not breaking in. Basically, I just take the first few rounds to really make sure, okay, this gun is good, it's safe, nothing funky is happening with it, and then go have your fun with it, go load it up all the way, do the drills you need to do. But if you're a new shooter, just start with one at a time until you become comfortable and confident in your shooting abilities and your safety abilities. And if you are an experienced shooter and this is a new gun, you probably have your own way of getting acquainted with it. I personally just start with maybe 4 or 5, getting used to the gun, making sure that the gun's all good to go, and then we get going with our regular drills. So that's kind of not really a thing you have to follow, but depending on your experience level, that'll kind of dictate how many rounds you want to start off with until you get comfortable with that firearm. Number 4, biggest one, have fun, but also be safe. It seems like there are so many rules when you go to a range or just when you're going out to shoot, and rules can be annoying, but they're also there to make sure that no one gets hurt or injured or anything worse than that. Because if someone or something gets shot, then all the fun goes out the window. So go have fun. Go shoot your new firearm, go have a blast with it, but also be aware of those safety rules. If you just make sure that muzzle is pointed in a safe direction, your finger stays off of it, you're aware of if it's loaded or unloaded, you're aware of what target is yours, what's beyond that target, you can have as much fun in the world as you want to have. Just being aware and being respectful of those people around you, because let's be honest, the gun ranges get crazy this time of year. Being respectful of those people around you and focusing on controlling what you can control, controlling your safety, that's going to help you have a really good time. I know not everyone is going to be safe with their firearms. It's kind of inevitable. There's always going to be that person at the range or those people at the range. But if you can control what you can control, if you can go be safe with it, maybe set a good example for others, that will hopefully help you have a better time. And hopefully the ROs are making sure everyone else is staying safe. But again, most of the time there's only one of them and there's 8 to 12 lanes in a range. So just respect them, respect the people around you, and go have fun with it. They are supposed to be fun. If you want to compete, compete. If you just want to go shoot to shoot, go shoot to shoot. Just whatever you do, go have fun and be safe. Lucy is back. Come here. What? I don't know if y'all can hear her meowing. I don't know if the mics pick it up. Come on. You want to say hi to people again? Oh, hi. Here she is. Lucy wants you guys to have fun and be safe too. I've done like 3 thumbs up in this video today. Also, y'all see, I shot this like a while ago, but look, I shot a smile, where is it? I don't know if you can see it. I shot a smiley face into it. See what I mean? Go have fun. Go have fun. Go shoot smiley faces into your targets. Mwah. Anyways, those are just some tips and tricks to stay safe and have fun with your first firearm if it is your first firearm. If it is not and you're more experienced, this will also have you have fun and be safe. So Lucy decided she wanted to be the center of attention, so I'm going to end this, go focus on her for a little bit, and in the meantime, stay safe. I will see you guys next week.